What's good? What's going on, everybody? We back in the building yet again. We in the stew. I was gonna do this live stream outside on the patio, but it has been raining like crazy, and I didn't really want to sit out there in the wet. You know how it be. You know how if it's a hot day and then it rains and it is still humid and it is, you go outside and it's wet and it's humid and it's just like, nah, I don't want to do that. So we decided to do it in the stew today. We're gonna have to start doing more shows in the stew. You feel me? What was the point of spending all the money on this stuff if we're not gonna use it? Shout out to my man Will. He said OG 10K has been broken, my G. The BINO way works. I'm a living example. Word. Look, it's so many individuals that refuse to I guess acknowledge that I know what I'm talking about. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Congratulations to you on reaching 10K, my friend. Real talk. Congratulations. And welcome to the world of hate. Because as your channel continues to grow, there will no doubtedly be individuals that will have a problem with it simply because they think you don't deserve it or whatever goofy reason they got, but you definitely deserve it, bro. I saw you over there grinding. I saw you over there doing your thing. Keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing your thing. Shout out to Marcus for the membership. Marcus said, much respect to Angryman and BINO Nation. Appreciate you. But here's the funny thing, and this is probably the reason why I identify with Trump the way I do. Shout out to D-Rock then said, I don't understand why BP are crashing out on DC. I do. I understand perfectly why they're crashing out. I understand perfectly why they're crashing out. Like, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it over and over again on a regular basis. And look, I see them on TikTok losing their minds, like really, literally losing their minds. In fact, you know what? Let me pull up a couple of those videos for us to peruse. Because they are literally crashing out. Losing their minds. And keep in mind, they're not losing their minds because Trump is doing anything wrong, right? They're losing their minds because the media has put such a large Duracell battery in every person that even somewhat leans left, and especially black people. You got black people online hating Trump, and they don't even know why they hate him. They don't even have a clue. Like, we've talked about this numerous times. Most of them don't even know why they don't like Trump. They don't have a clue. They just, I just don't like him. I just don't like him. Like, why? Shout out to Mr. Walker. Appreciate the membership. They don't even know why they don't like him, bro. They just know that they don't like him because somebody taught them not to like him, right? But let's pull up this TikTok real quick because I know y'all gonna get a kick out of this.
I'll never forget this nigga.
And by the way, make sure you guys are hitting the Cash App and supporting the show. Anybody that drops 100 or more will be a sponsor of the show. Anybody that drops 500 or more will be a super sponsor of the show. Let's see. There was something else I was getting ready to do. Oh, that's what we got to do. We got to pull it up on the screen. We got to pull it up on the screen. There we go. So let's check out what a couple of these individuals had to say. Let's start with this guy right here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So basically, in Houston, there is a Trump burger restaurant, I guess. I guess they sell burgers and they sell Trump paraphernalia or whatever. And I heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, but they've been on TikTok saying that the owner was from Mexico and he got deported or something. I don't know, or from another country and he got deported. I don't know. So this is this Negro, whoever this Negro is, up here gloating about it, right?
They don't care if you supported him. You're getting out of this country. They don't care if you like him. This is what you get. That is what you get. He don't care if you have restaurants with his name painted on them. If you're brown, get the fuck out of town. That's what they're saying. They don't care. But that's what he gets. Like you thought it was gonna be the other Mexicans, huh? No, it's you.
So let me make sure I understand this, Negro. So you're mad at Trump and ICE because you think Trump hates Mexicans, but you're on a live or a show saying that they deserved it? Could somebody explain to me how that makes any sense? So you're saying that's what you get, you deserve it, right? Does that make any logical sense? So basically, you want to proclaim that Trump is racist, and you're proving this by showing your racism? You want to prove that Trump is not tolerant, but you want to prove this by showing your lack of tolerance?
They see y'all all the same. You think you're special? You're not special. They don't care. Your tone of color is darker than theirs. They want you out. That's all they see. You thinking, oh, I go to work every day. I do the right thing. They don't care. They want you out of their country. That's what you need to start realizing. Stop aligning yourself with these people.
Negro, in case you just happen to come across this video, I say this with every ounce of my being. SYBAU. SYBAU. Please, for the love of God, let me say this to y'all, right? And I mean this. I really genuinely mean this. The internet is by far the worst thing that has ever happened to Negroes as a whole, and specifically the B-Dub. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I had a higher estimation of you before the internet. Before I came onto the internet and got exposed. Cause look, I knew the people that I came up around. I knew who was this and who was that, who I thought was intelligent, who I thought was slow. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Most of the black folks I came up around, many of them were of at least average intelligence. At least. Some of them were extremely intelligent, right? Like I didn't come up around all the black people that I came up around was intelligent people. So my perception of our community was that most of us are intelligent. It wasn't until I came to the internet. It wasn't until I showed up here and started to interact with many of you. And I found out real fast. I found out real fast that my estimation was way too high. Look, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, right? 10 years. All it took was those 10 years for me to just like, for my entire opinion of us to change. You feel me? Like I started out as a young man being on some pro-black conscious community. We can make it, we can make it. Like all we need is you. Like when I was younger, this was my thought process. My thought process was, I believed in the concept of the miseducation of the Negro. So my whole thing was, we just need education. We just need the right knowledge. If we could just get the right knowledge to the majority of us black folk, see, and I know there's a lot of black folk that still think like that. This is the reason why Dr. Umar's hustle is so strong. This is why they believe in him and believe in that school so strong. Because black people know, like, if we could just get the right information, we can save the community. I went from being pro-black, conscious community, we can save the community, to Sarge from A Soldier Story. Today, I am more like Sarge from A Soldier Story. I can't stand these Negroes. When I sit and listen to somebody like this, sitting up here talking like he ain't got the sense he was born with. The only reason, let me tell you something. The only reason he's talking like this is the same reason that our women talk the way they do, because they've been programmed to do so. Period. This Negro, I guarantee you, before Donald Trump got elected, this Negro didn't even bring up Trump's name. I guarantee you Donald Trump has never been a thought in this dude's mind until 2016. I promise you. If you go back to, and look, let's be real. Donald Trump has been in the media forever. Donald Trump has been in the media for the entire time I've been alive. And I guarantee you this Negro, throughout his whole life, never brought up Donald Trump. I bet you any amount of money. This dude was not watching The Apprentice talking about some, I hate him. I wish they would take him off TV. He wasn't doing that. When he was listening to rap music, because you know he was, when he was listening to rap music and somebody referenced Donald Trump, he didn't turn it off and say, I wish these rappers would stop saying Trump's name. You know he didn't. But now all of a sudden, Trump is Darth Vader. All of a sudden, Donald Trump is Darth Vader. Here's another one.
Donald Trump just deployed the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Who you think they're going to arrest? Young black men. We already have ICE harassing.
And here's my thing. When are y'all going to get over yourself? Donald Trump just deployed the National Guard to D.C. Who do you think he's going to arrest? Young black men. Like, nigga, get over yourself. Everything is not about you. Do y'all ever notice that every time something happens in America, black folk is in line to utilize their struggle card? Have you noticed that? Every time something happens in America that black folk think, it's like America. It's like when somebody's passing out turkeys for Thanksgiving. Every time black folk think somebody's passing out victimhood, they show up to swipe their struggle card. Like, soon as they heard this, Donald Trump is deploying the National Guard to D.C. to clean up the crime. Oh, here we go. He's trying to put us back in slavery. Like every time. Do you realize, look, I'm going to tell you something right now. There's going to be a huge percentage of people, not just black people, but black people will be included in the group. I'd say in the next 10 years, there's going to be a huge group of people that's going to need therapy mentally. And the reason why I say this is because it's not possible for you to live almost an entire decade being gaslit that the sky is falling every damn week. Like, hear me out. I want you to think about this. What type of toll do you think the propaganda that's being pushed by the mainstream media, what type of toll do y'all think that's taking on people that believe that bullshit? Because if you look at what they report on, they make it seem like every time Donald Trump do something, the world is coming to an end. And these Negroes be believing it. They be in their car crashing out. They be flipping. They be talking about how they move into another country. Like, the mainstream media has anybody that believes in what they say in a constant state of panic. In a constant state of panic. They are always, they are always telling people, oh, you know what Trump just did? Like everything he do. When he first got elected and he signed the executive orders in order to start mass deportations, they was making people believe that he was going to deport everyone that wasn't white, even if you were a citizen of the country. And some of these fools believed that. You had Ricky Smiley going on the radio talking about he was afraid that Donald Trump was going to deport him. Deport you where, Ricky Smiley? Back to Birmingham, Alabama? What are you talking about? Then when Trump announced the tariffs, oh my God, the tariffs is going to make, the tariffs are going to crash the economy. Oh, we're in a trade war. We're in a trade war. How long did that trade war last? Bro, every week. Every week. Every week. Every single week. It like just listen to this foolishness, man.
Immigrant communities. 300,000 black women lost their jobs. 300,000 black women lost their jobs. We already have ICE harassing immigrant communities. 300,000 black women lost their jobs in just a couple of months. Black unemployment is over 7%, which is way higher than a national average. Do y'all get it yet? Like, do y'all understand the whole purpose of this administration? Donald Trump just deployed the National Guard in Washington.
Let me tell y'all something about these ignorant Negroes, right? So in the neighborhood that I live in, there are houses that people bought, like purchased. But there are also houses that people lease, right? Now, at first, I didn't know which houses were houses people purchased and which houses were houses people leased, right? But I now know that a lot of the houses in the area, in this part of the neighborhood that I'm in, are leased out, right? This is what I noticed. When I moved here, Donald Trump was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Donald Trump was just about to leave office, right? Now, this is something I noticed that probably nobody else in this neighborhood noticed, but I noticed it, right? Once Joe Biden got elected, now, when I moved here, I think this was one of the only empty houses. In other words, every house, there was somebody in it. Every house, there was somebody in it, right? Just to give you an idea of how good everyone was doing, how well everyone was doing, right? In fact, one of the first days that I was here moving my stuff in, I don't know who did it, but somebody had an entire parade in the street. I'm talking about like a Mardi Gras parade, right? After about 2 years, after about a year or two into the Biden administration, people started moving out. Now, me personally, I believe it was because their money wasn't right. Right? In fact, I literally sat back and watched as this house becomes empty. This house becomes empty. This house becomes empty. In fact, for the last 2 years of Joe Biden's administration, I can count at least five houses on this block alone was empty. Around the corner, there was a bunch of other houses that was empty, right? We're not even a whole year into Trump's administration. Right after Trump got elected, those empty houses, somebody snatched it up. Somebody snatched the other one up. Somebody snatched another one up. You can literally look at your environment and see which president was a good president or not. Because at the end of the day, whether or not you have a good president, people can get online and they can debate about it all day long. They can sit on news shows and debate about it. But where you're going to see it is in real life. That's where you're going to see it. And right now, here's the thing about Negroes like this right here. Negroes like this right here are too ignorant to pay attention to things like that. And I know that sounds like a biased statement, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, Negroes like this, half the time, they don't even know which way is up. They don't know left from right. Okay? During the Biden years, I noticed a decline in activity outside when it came to certain stuff. Now, all of a sudden, Trump is in office, and I notice way more activity. Way more activity. When you go to the movie theater, when you go, like way more. Look, if you look at the stock market, there's way more confidence in the market. That's why the market is up. All of these different things. But here you have this Negro. The only thing that his mind can focus on is some sort of race or identity politics. That's all he can focus on. That's all he can focus on. I guarantee you, he don't know the market is up because he probably ain't got no money in the market. Yo, I get tired, bro. Shout out to my man Cali Bills. He said, paying my dues, big homie. Appreciate you.
Here we go again. $100 boss up. Going down. Stack up and match up.
These Negroes, bro. And every time Trump does something, they run to the internet. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. Trump done started the tariffs. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. They ain't gonna be able to buy my flat screen TV for $200. Shout out to Jerome. He said, what up, AM? Appreciate the knowledge, bro. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. I ain't gonna be able to go to the beach. Here's the other funny thing. Trump gonna mess up the economy, and I won't be able to go to the beach 3 times this summer. You ever notice? Look, David said he got rid of junk food on EBT, they say. Yeah, bro, if you really want to know why, better yet, let's be clear about it. Let's be 100 about it, right? The reason why some black people don't like Trump, like, let's be real, let's be clear. We know the reason why some black people don't like Trump. We know the reason. We know the reason. We know the reason why some black people like Trump, And some black people don't like Trump. We know the reason. The moment he started putting stipulations on Section 8 vouchers, stipulations on EBT, stipulations on having a work requirement on certain benefits, you knew immediately certain Negroes was gonna have a problem with Trump. You know which black folk don't have a problem with Trump. The ones that actually got something going on in their life. The ones that are actually making money, that are actually doing something with their life. And by the way, how are we, oh my God, you know what? How are we 40 minutes in and we only got 5 contributors? What is going on? What's going on? What's really good? Like what's really good? But again, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that, especially with black men, it don't surprise me that a lot of black men don't support Trump. It doesn't surprise me. Why doesn't it surprise me? I'll show you why. I'll show you why. This is the reason why right here. Now, I posted this video. on Instagram, right? I posted this video on Instagram. Spent so much time talking. Let's see. Here we go. So I posted the video on Instagram. And when I posted the video, where is it at? And I knew it was going to happen. I knew as soon as I posted this video, somebody was going to come in and try to explain this foolishness. Because this is some sort of tradition that they have down in New Orleans, right? And allegedly it's some kind of thing where they put on red dresses and they walk, in order to raise money for local businesses or some other foolishness, right? And I knew as soon as I posted it, somebody was going to come to the comment section and try to explain that foolishness, right? Let me see if I can find it. My bad, y'all. I get so many freaking comments. You feel me? But these are all fake comments, right? These are all fake comments. These are all fake comments. You feel me? Because you got people running around YouTube trying to say that I'm bloating my subscriber numbers and shit, right? If that's the case, then why does it translate over to other platforms? Y'all see all of these comments I'm scrolling through? How many views is on this joint? I dropped this joint today. It's on. I dropped it today. $75,000 views. 75,000 views. Almost 2,000 comments. Wait a minute. Oh no, it's hold on, it's 217,000 views. 217, right? Yeah, I'm bloating numbers. That's why I got 400 and that's why I got damn near 500,000 followers on Instagram. If I'm bloating my YouTube numbers, how the hell how do I have almost 500,000 followers on Instagram? Does that make any sense to y'all? Does that make any sense to y'all? How is that possible? How is that possible? How about Facebook? What that say? Almost 100K. And I don't even post on there like that. I don't even post on there like that. I just started posting again, right? Look, I got 143K on this video on Facebook, 217K for the same video on Instagram. Hold on. This video right here got 1 million views. You see it right there on the screen. 1 million views. 198,000. This one has 1.9 million views. But I'm bloating my numbers, right? This is how desperate dudes are to hate on me. This is how desperate they are, bro. Six said, you don't be on Facebook at all. At all, bruh. At all. Look, I posted this August 1st, right? August 1st, right? July 31st, July 31st, July 31st, July 30th. Watch this. There's going to be a huge gap. Watch this. July 29th, July 25th. Hold on. July 23rd, 23rd, 21st. July 20th, July 16th. July 16th. And then it jumps back to May. And then it jumps back to April. March. Bro, I be going months without posting stuff on Facebook. Months. And then I'll mess around and post something. I just posted that the other day. 1 million views. 1 million views. Just posted it. Just posted it the other day. 1 million views. But anyway, let's go back to this. Let's see if we can find this comment. So somebody jumped in the comment to try to explain. In fact, they probably responded to me. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the response. Let's see if we can find the response. Let's see. We might be able to find the response. And this is people following me and people responding and commenting. I should have screenshotted that message. So basically, this is what he said, right? So basically, dude was like, yo, for anybody that doesn't know, this is the red dress, blase blah, right? Trying to break down the reason why they do that crap, right? So my thing is this. I responded to what he said. I said to him, we know, and we still don't care. Because my question is this. How many brothers was looking for that? How many brothers can't wait until they have that event just so they can put on a dress? See, that's my question. My question is, how many brothers down there can't wait for them to do that event just so they got an excuse to put a dress on? That's the question. How many? How many can't wait just to be able to put that dress on and prance around and do all of that extra goofy stuff? But see, it's things like that that show me that there's a lot of dudes that they're not going to align with what Trump is talking about, because Trump is about masculinity. Trump is about manhood. Trump is about traditional values. So there's a lot of you dudes that ain't going to align with that, because you down there in Nolan's running around in a red dress. And what I'm trying to figure out is how can you consider yourself pro-black and engage in something like that? Do you have any idea how brothers were emasculated during slavery? And here you are free in the modern day, and you gonna voluntarily put a dress on? And then you got dudes in the in the comment section trying to defend it. Like, seriously? Shout out to Man Miller. Appreciate you. Shout out to Brent. Brent said DC has had problems for a very long time. It's about damn time. Oh, we about to get to that. We about to get to that in a second. Shout out to the Diz said, I live in DC. Some folks here that complain about DC police not doing enough about crime now wants to complain about getting federal help. Shout out to Grav. He said TDS got some folks acting out. I haven't heard a good argument from the left yet. It's a bunch of lies. Shout out to David. Appreciate you. So hold on 1 second, you guys. Let me check. So now I'm about to go in. Now I'm about to go in on this whole DC situation. But before I do, I know it's late. I know it's late night. We need support. By this time, we would have been way further along. We only got 10 supporters so far. Hit the Cash App, support the show, support the movement. Y'all already know what it is. I remember back in the day, right? I've only known New York to be dangerous, right? There's only one type of New York that I knew growing up, right? And then one day, they elected a man by the name of Rudolph Giuliani. And I'll never forget this because when Giuliani got elected, he was accused of all types of wild shit, right? Shout out to Gone Post. Appreciate you, bro. They were basically saying that he was too, like Giuliani, he doing too much. That was the mentality. The mentality was that Giuliani was doing too much. You got stop and frisk. Oh my God, there's too many police. Like they had a stronger police presence. You had police on freaking mountain bikes, all types of shit. And Giuliani's approach to solving the crime problem in New York was to enforce the little things. You know what I'm saying? Because his thought process was if you enforce the little things, it would kind of take care of the big stuff, right? In other words, his thought process was the little crimes is what lead to big crimes. So if you show that you're tough on the little stuff, it would deter people from doing bigger things, right? Now, people can say what they want to say about Giuliani, right? Giuliani cleaned the city up. When it's all said and done, everybody can talk crazy about him. Black folk can talk crazy about him if they want to. But Giuliani, exactly, the broken window theory. Giuliani cleaned that city up, whether you want to agree with it or not. Whether you want to agree with it or not, he changed the way that city functioned. Even with the way it is now, it would have been far worse if they would have never had Giuliani as a mayor. If they would have never had Giuliani as a mayor, that city would have been way worse, right? So when you look at Donald Trump, this is what people don't realize about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is most certainly a law enforcement president. Like, he believes in the rule of law and order. He believes in having a strong police force. He believes in all of that. If you go back and look, because people love to bring up the Central Park Five, right? That was the entire reason that he put that full page ad in the paper. It was because of the crime. He was tired of the crime. Now, if you think for 1 second that Donald Jaquavius Trump is going to be living in D.C. and having to deal with the absolute shithole that y'all have turned D.C. into, you've lost your mind. You have lost your mind. If you think he's going to tolerate being in Pennsylvania Avenue and look out the window and he can literally see dope fiends and junkies and ladies of the night strolling in front of the White House, if you think he's going to tolerate that, you've lost your mind. Now, for you, look, this is one thing I notice every single time that anybody tries to, every single time that someone tries to restore order, decency, and lawfulness, why is it always the Negroes that have to jump out there and have a problem with it? Am I the only one that noticed this? Every single time. Every time. Every time someone tries to restore order, it's black folk that got a problem with it. Every time. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care that he called in the National Guard. Because if you really want to be honest, I think he should have been called. I think he should have did it in his first administration, especially with Chicago. I think he should have been called in the National Guard on a few of these blue cities where you just got crime running rampant and you just got these Negroes running around here thinking that we supposed to be living in Beirut or Iraq or one of these war-torn countries. Like you literally got dudes on social media joking about having switches. You literally got dudes on social media joking about YNs having switches. No, bruh, that gotta be some gotta be done about all of that. Some gotta be done about all of that. The whole reason that you have crime turning into what it's been turning into lately is because you have these Democrat strongholds in these cities where they just refuse to enforce it. And don't have a lapse in memory. Don't have a lapse in memory. I need y'all to remember specifically what it was like under Joe Biden. I need y'all to remember the people running in stores doing smash and grabs. I need y'all to remember all of these different cities where they just refuse to prosecute anybody. Run around here talking about no cash bail. Like, bruh. It is beyond amazing. It's beyond amazing. Because look, I'm not even gonna tell you no lie, bro. It got to the point where I'm like, I started worrying. Because I'm looking around and I'm like, yo, one of the worst things that we can ever do in this country is make it seem like lawlessness is tolerated. Now, I want you to think about this. Do you want to know what the biggest mistake during the pandemic was? During the pandemic, a precedent was set, and it was one of the biggest mistakes that we could have ever made in this country. Do y'all know what that is? It's one of the biggest mistakes that we could have ever made in this country. Derek Glasper said, what about January 6th? What about it? What did they do on January 6th that was illegal? What about it? Exactly. David and Catfish, Tails, Marcus, Frame Runner, y'all are 100% correct. The biggest mistake of the pandemic, they made wearing masks normal. Let me tell you something. You couldn't ride around or walk around with no poo shiesty on in the 90s. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Derek Glasper said, ha ha, okay. What do you mean, ha ha, okay? Tell me what they did that was illegal. I'm still waiting. You made the statement, so type it in the chat. What did they do that was illegal? I know what they did. There's two things they did that was illegal that day. I just want to see if you know what they did that was illegal. They went after cops. No, they didn't. They absolutely did not. I'm still waiting on him to say a law that was broken. That's what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm still waiting on a law. See, here's the funny thing about that whole situation, right? Right before that day, right? Right before that day, Trump wanted to get more National Guard troops. Pelosi denied it. Pelosi denied it. And then on the day of, there were people there that just happened to be part of certain agencies that weren't supposed to be there. I would imagine that possibly, allegedly could have been rabble rousers. But for what purposes? I tell you what purposes. So that your stupid ass can sit up in here today and say, what about January 6th? That was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose. Because without that statement, what would you have to say? And the most hilarious thing about it is you want to come in here and say that to us like we're so stupid. We don't know what went down that day or why it went down that day. So do me a favor, my friend. Skip your mentally challenged behind out of my chat room with that remedial elementary bullshit. Because you in the wrong place for it. You in the wrong place for it. And for the record, the two things that they did wrong that day that was illegal. One, they trespassed. And two, someone broke a window. Vandalism. Yeah, exactly. CNN talking points. CNN talking points. But they do that because they think it's gonna fly. Shout out to D-Rock then said DJT is definitely a law enforcement president. Could be the reason why black people are crashing out, worrying about the police state in DC. Well, someone should explain to black folk the way you avoid a police state, the way you avoid ending up in a police state is you don't turn your city into a crime-ridden ghetto. That's how you avoid a police state. You don't turn your city into a crime-ridden ghetto. But if you running around here engaging in all sorts of foolishness, and let's be real, are we really gonna sit here and pretend like DC is some happy place? Are we really gonna sit here and pretend like this is not, at this point, this is not necessary? Let me tell you something. I can name numerous places in America right now that need the National Guard. I can name numerous places right now. DC definitely comes to mind, right? Atlanta, Georgia. Shit. Pick a city in California. Chicago. Like, bro, there's so many places right now. So many places that have become absolute shitholes. And we're gonna run around here and act like nothing's wrong. Oh, definitely Memphis. You got dudes running around here. He done called the national. So what? He the damn president. He can do that. That's the other funny thing to me. The funny thing to me is how they sit around here. Every time he does something, they jump out there complaining as if he does not have the right to do it. Hello, he's the president. And I don't know if y'all remember or not, he's in charge of and responsible for the country. Sweet Jesus. Shout out to Ken if he said, keep spitting that anger, AM. Shout out to Vincent. Like, the man is the president. He's supposed to maintain some order. And like I said, man, this is the main reason why I can identify with Trump. The reason why I can identify with Trump is because I know what it's like for people to just hate on you just because it's you. You know, forget what you've accomplished, forget what you're doing, forget whether you're doing a good job or a bad job. There are people out here that pick certain people and they just hate on you because it's you. They just got some shit on their mind because it's you. It ain't no logic behind it. It ain't no reason behind it. They just don't like you. So anything you do, anything you involved in, they want to try their best to shit on it. Shout out to Corey. Appreciate the membership. They just want to shit on it because it's you. And that's the whole situation with Trump. They just don't like it because it's Trump. They just don't like it because it's Trump. It's Trump. And since it's Trump, we gonna be on some hating shit. We gonna be on some hating shit because it's Donald Trump. Shout out to P. Rothstein. He said what he is doing is the medicine that we needed, and it's long overdue because this place has been sick for quite a while. You got that right. You got that right. And look, all of y'all folks, they got a problem with Trump. I'm gonna tell you right now, he don't care. He does not care if you don't agree. If you don't agree with him, I promise you he don't care. I promise you he don't care. Because like I said before, I said this the other day, and cats didn't realize it. I said it the other day. When you spend all of your time, right? When you spend all of your time hating on somebody, there's no incentive for them to do anything to appease you, because you've just proven to them that you're going to hate on them regardless. So if you're going to hate on them regardless, what the hell is the point of them doing anything to appease you? That's like if I'm in school and or if I got a job, if I got a job at a factory or at some corporate place, and I know that no matter what I do, I'm still going to be treated the same way. Why am I going to go above and beyond to appease my boss if I know that I'm going to get treated the same way that I would if I didn't try to appease him? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, Donald Trump probably has the mentality right now that, you know what? I'm going to just do what I know I need to do, because at the end of the day, it's certain people that's going to hate me regardless. It's some people that's going to support me regardless. So I might as well just do what I do. I guarantee you he feels that way. I guarantee you he feels that way. I guarantee you he is not worried about what nobody is saying. I promise you. Promise you. He's not worried about what nobody's saying. He's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to just do what I do. I'm going to just do what I do, because you clowns, you clowns ain't going to freaking Oh yeah, and by the way, shout out to everybody that's becoming members over at Locals. I dropped the other day, I dropped the video. I dropped the hyena video over there, right? So the other day I put the hyena video over there. And in fact, hold on, let me pull this up on the screen real quick. Let's see. So yeah, so the other day I put the hyena video up there. If you want to be able to check that video out, all you gotta do is become a Locals member. It's only $10. And I was able to get into one of my hard drives. So since I was able to get into one of my hard drives, I've got a lot of videos that I took down. And I gotta go through them. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna periodically repost some of those. I'm gonna go through the videos and see which ones are more important, which ones are more pertinent. And I'm gonna periodically repost those videos on Locals. So anybody that's a member of Locals, that will be a treat for you, because I'm gonna deep dive into the archives, you feel what I'm saying, and start posting some relevant videos. I'm trying to find that color purple video. Trying to find that video, but you know. Shout out to Five Will for the 10 jewels. Appreciate you. Shout out to Five Will again for the 2 jewels. Shout out to P. Rothstein, said Washington, D.C., Chicago, Memphis, L.A., St. Louis, and those are just the top 5 that need this type of action to take place. The citizens are sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what? I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think most people are sick and tired of, right? Shout out to Grav. He says, sent thumbs up for 10 jewels. Appreciate you. What I believe people are tired of, I think people are tired of being lied to, right? Shout out to Grav for the 10 jewels. I think people are tired of being lied to. Now, some of y'all be like, what do you mean by that, Angry Man? What do you mean lied to? I think that people are tired of living in cities that are crime-ridden cities, right? Shout out to Preston for gifting a membership. I think people are tired of living in crime-ridden cities where their Democrat representation come on television on a regular basis and try to act like, you know, nothing's wrong. Like, nothing's wrong here. This is business as usual, right? Nothing to see here. You feel me? Nothing to see here. At the end of the day, it is what it is. What old boy say on that clip? It is what it is. You feel me? Let's see. Give me 1 second, you guys. Burnell asked me about the super sponsor thing, so I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and put this joint up here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Grab for the jewels. Shout out to P. Rothstein. He said every last one of the crime-ridden cities are blue through and through, and it's getting worse. Enough is enough. People want to feel safe. Facts. That's facts. Real talk. I personally don't understand why this is a hard concept. As a matter of fact, no, I do. I do understand it, right? So if you are a person that doesn't have anything going on in your life that's of any significance, you don't have anything to lose. Basically, you don't have any skin in the game. If you don't have any skin in the game, you really don't care. You really don't care if your city is crime ridden. You know, you really don't care if the country is on the verge of anarchy. You don't care. In fact, I would argue that some people want it to be that way. Shout out to P41 for the jewels. Some people want it to be that way. So that it's almost like, well, I'm not winning, so I don't want anybody to win. Or things aren't going right for me, so I don't want things to go right for anybody. You feel me? Like, it's kind of like the dude that shows up to the party, and because none of the girls want to dance with him, now he want to fight. Or the guy that comes to the party and he's not having any fun, so since he's not having any fun, he gonna pull out a gun and shoot in the air so he can shut the party down. It's that mentality. Yeah, I'm gonna take my ball and go home. You feel me? And it's like people will look at me and they'll say, well, Angryman, why are you so gung-ho about the country, you know, about America and being an American and whatever, right? It's simple. When you finally get the hang of Candyland, why you want to quit? Think about when we were younger, like most of us watching my show are Gen Xers, right? Think about when we were younger. The only people that didn't want to play a game are the people that was losing at it. If you're playing Monopoly and you're starting to collect properties and you're starting to see some progress, you're like, yeah, I like playing this game. This is fun. Shout out to Elijah. Like if you start noticing, right? If you start noticing that you're winning at the game, why wouldn't you want to play the game? Why wouldn't you want to play the game? Why not? Yo, shout out to my man Burnell coming through with the super sponsorship.
That's that BINO energy.
Said new soundboard for super sponsor. You know what? I'm gonna get. That's what I'm gonna do today. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that today, bro. I'm gonna order some new sound bites. Matter of fact, I don't even gotta order. I can use, bro. Ever since I went over to Fatty Show, I felt put to shame, bro. I ain't even gonna lie, man. Cause look, y'all know me. Like I play with the AI, right? I play with the AI, but I mostly deal with like the AI pictures, right? I haven't dove into the I haven't dove into the AI what is it? The the live video and stuff. I haven't dove into that yet. I gotta get into that, right? I gotta get into that. But Fatty, he's wrecking shop with the AI. I ain't even gonna front. He doing his thing, right? And I thought about it. I was like, I don't even have to pay for drops anymore. And for those of you that don't know what a drop is, this is a drop.
Support the team. Make the Cash App ring during the stream. Go to $the Angry Man. Go!
That's a drop, right? That's a drop. Like I could literally probably use AI to make one of those. You know what I'm saying? But there's this one website I go to. They always do pretty good drops or whatever, right? So I'm gonna get one for the, because we got one for the 50.
$50 boss up. Stack up and match up.
And I could be wrong, but I think that's Don's voice. For those of y'all that don't know who Don is he's the host on Fox Soul. Remember when I go over to Fox Soul or whatever, the light-skinned brother? I had no idea that when I was purchasing those drops, it was his voice. I had no idea. I think this is his voice too.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned into
to the realest show on YouTube with your host, the Angry Man.
I think that's Don's voice, right? I know a couple of my drops is his voice, right? But yeah, I'm gonna get one for the super sponsor. Definitely. Shout out to Elijah. But yeah, why would you like this is one of the most frustrating parts of being in America and just life in general, right? In fact, y'all mind if I vent about this for a second? Y'all mind if I vent about this for a second? And shout out to Burnell, man. I don't know why that joint is not updating, because it should be adding those two together. But you know what? This is what I'll do. Let's remove that one. And let's remove this one. And let's see. What we'll do is we'll just do this. We'll do it like this. Burnell is the super sponsor of the show. We'll do it like that. We'll do it like that. So this is something that I've kind of touched on this subject before, but I haven't really did a deep dive into it, right? One of the things that I wasn't counting on when I was a young man, right? Shout out to David. He said vent. And maybe some of you can relate to this, because maybe some of you are experiencing the same thing. Like I've gotten to the point where I do not take for granted the fact that some of you identify with my show because you experience some of the same things, right? So one of the things that I didn't count on when I was a young man is you always strive to do better, and you always strive to be successful. But in the back of your mind, there's always some doubt that it won't happen. There's always doubt that it won't happen, right? No matter how confident you are, there's always a little bit of doubt that it won't happen. And when you're young and you're striving for your goals, you're trying to accomplish your goals, there's certain things that you don't really have time to think about or time to focus on, right? And then when you start to do well for yourself, like you're in that hole and you're climbing out of the hole, you're trying to climb out of the hole, or you're in the tunnel and you're starting to see some sunlight. You're starting to see a little bit of sunlight, and it encourages you to keep going or whatever, right? And so finally, you reach a level of success, right? Because when you're young and you're pursuing success, there are certain things you don't think about because you're too preoccupied, right? You're too preoccupied with the grind. You're too preoccupied with the hustle, right? Now, when you're in the grind, you're willing to listen to people that complain about the struggle. So you might have people around you that's like, man, I'm tired of this white man foot on my neck. Man, I can't get nothing accomplished, man. It's like I'm taking one step forward to take two steps back. Like, you'll entertain that shit. And the reason why you'll entertain it is because you're in the struggle. You may not walk around complaining like that, but you know you're in the struggle. And you may not realize that Negro is complaining, but that Negro ain't putting in the same effort you putting in. But in that moment, he seems like a kindred spirit because he's complaining about the things that you are also going through. Now, you may not look at it the same way that he look at it, but you're still struggling nonetheless, right? So you're willing to entertain that shit, right? It isn't until you get to another level and now you're not struggling as much as you were before, and then you start to notice those same people are still complaining about the same struggle. And then you say to yourself, like, well, if you were grinding as hard as I'm grinding, you would have came up. Because you look around and you're not the only person that came up. You see other people that came up and they talk about their struggle and their grind and how they got to their level, right? So it's not just you. But you look at the people that's still complaining, and then you start to realize, you start to say to yourself, well, if you spent half as much time on your grind and on your plan and on your purpose as you do complaining, you probably would have came up out of it by now, right? So that's the first thing you notice, okay? The second thing you notice, and this is the unfair part, this is the really messed up part. You keep going forward. Even though you're now out of the hole, you're out of the tunnel, you're in the sunlight. But the sunlight feels so good, you're like, I gotta keep doing what I do because I want to stay in the sunlight. I've gotten a taste for the good life, and I don't want to go back, right? Well, what did Big Sean say? He said, and I'm not trying to go back to my old life, right? Not trying to go back to the struggle. If I got to grind 24 and more, I'm not going back to the struggle, right? So once you get to this place, the second thing that you notice, and this is the worst thing ever, and I would have never imagined it as long as I have been living. The moment you get to a certain level, you notice first that a lot of the people you were around are still complaining and still in the same spot. The second thing that you notice is now that you have achieved certain things, everyone wants to act like it doesn't matter, or everyone wants to diminish it. So when you were broke and struggling, everybody around you said, man, them Mercedes Benzes is off the hook, bruh. Yo, anybody that got a Mercedes Benz is doing it. Anybody that got a brand new Benz is the man. You get a brand new Benz, now all of a sudden, that Benz ain't shit. When you were broke and struggling, making 6 figures or 7 figures, everybody, oh, if you make that kind of money, you rich. But when you get to that level, oh, that ain't shit. That ain't shit. Right? When you was broke, certain neighborhoods, if you lived in that neighborhood, you like, yo, they doing good over there. They doing good over there. You start living in neighborhoods like that, oh, nigga, that ain't shit. So what? Yeah, that's a nice house. That's a nice $500,000 house. It ain't no $10 million house. And keep in mind, the nigga that's telling you your $500,000 house ain't a $10 million house is a nigga that don't even live in a $200,000 house. He don't live in a house. And this is where it gets even worse. This is where it goes to the extreme. You will hear them same people, the ones I said that you noticed first, the ones that still complaining about the struggle, that ain't moved out of their position. They sit around acting like they are praying for the downfall of America. And you sit back like, when I was broke and struggling, everyone around me, even though you complained about the struggle, you wanted to be rich. You wanted to be successful. You wanted to have all of the things that everyone dreams about. But now that I've achieved those things and you haven't, you want the country to fail? Now that I've achieved the shit and you haven't, now all of a sudden rich people ain't shit? Now all of a sudden everybody with some money is evil? Now all of a sudden a Benz ain't shit? You can't get a Lambo, so now a Lambo ain't shit? Now it don't mean nothing to fly first class? And it's like, bruh, it's like climbing Mount Everest. It's like people saying, one of the greatest things you could ever do is climb Mount Everest. And then when you climb Mount Everest, that don't mean nothing. And you ask yourself, why it don't mean nothing now? Because I got it? Because I accomplished it? Is that why it don't mean shit now? Does it not mean shit because you thought you would accomplish it? And since I was the one that accomplished it, now it don't mean nothing. Now it's irrelevant. Do you have any idea what kind of slap in the face that is? Like just a blatant slap in the face, fam. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. This is how I look at it, right? Because I've asked myself so many times. Because I'm being truthfully honest, y'all. I never thought I would get this high. Okay, where I'm currently at, I never imagined I would get to this level, right? And how I be feeling is like this. Why y'all want to fuck up the country after I finally get some? You feel me? Like for all my life, for the 80s through the 90s, if you was rich, the world was your oyster. The world was at your feet. I mean, it's bad enough that the dollars that I make don't go as far as they should go. It's bad enough that a house that's really worth $500,000 is now a $2 million house. It's bad. That's bad enough. Do you know what I could have done if I was? Do you know what type of lifestyle I'd be living if I made this kind of money in the 2010s? If I made this kind of money in the 2000s? If I made this kind of money in the 90s? And I'm pretty sure some of y'all feel like that. And the only reason we're in this position is because they're screwing up the country. Shout out to Fire Will. Shout out to Fire Will again. Shout out to Fire Will for the 2-time combo, the 3-time combo. Shout out to Grab. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for the jewels.
That's that BINO energy.
Shout out to Marcus. He said, facts AM. It's always people that don't have trying to tell you how to have unachieving ass niggas. Yep. Shout out to Behavioral Wellness. Appreciate you. Shout out to Hemlock. He said, I bought my first new car with 28 miles on the odometer last week. Bro, congratulations, man.
Here we go again. $100 boss up. Going down. Stack up and match up.
I know that had to be one hell of a good feeling. It don't even feel real, do it? It don't even feel real, do it? It feel like a dream, don't it? I guarantee you've probably sat in that car and didn't go nowhere. Like I guarantee you've gotten in that car, sat in it, and just sat there and just stared at the freaking dashboard, just stared at the interior. Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. I know exactly what that shit feels like, bro. I've had a lot of cars. I've had a lot of cars. The first new car I've ever had was the Camaro. That was my first new car. I'm talking about a car that no one else has ever had. That was my first brand new car. And I literally just sat in that car and just stared at it. Cause look, dudes don't even realize like my humble beginnings, right? I'm happy, bro. I'm happy at little shit. Like I'm happy to have a garage. You feel me? I'm happy to have uh air conditioning. Like I'm happy to have a comfortable bed. I'm happy to have food in the refrigerator. Like I'm happy to have little things. Like just little shit I'm happy about, right? But it's crazy to me when I look on social media and I see all of this hatred for Trump, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, Trump is just trying to make the country better. Like he's just trying to make the country profitable for us, like prosperous for us. And it's so many people that hate him for it. I cannot understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. J-Man said, yes, I remember paying child support, eating off the dollar menu. Bruh. Bruh, you know how many times the dollar menu saved me? You know how many times that 4 for $4 at Wendy's or when Burger King had those freaking nuggets? I forgot what the price was, but was like a 10 piece. You could get like a 10 piece for like, what was that shit? I can't remember. What was that price? It was some crazy price they had. Hold on. Burger King 10 piece nugget price. What was that price? Yeah, it was like $1.50. It was like $1.50, bruh. You know how many times the 10 nuggets at Burger King for, bro. Look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you the first time I got paid on YouTube. Very first time I got paid for YouTube video. This is before I started going live streaming, right? This is before I live streamed and all of that, right? I was just doing pre-recorded videos. I had been doing YouTube for I think a year. Because in order for YouTube to pay you, you have to reach a threshold of at least $200, right? So I'd never forget this, bro. Never forget it. I was at my sister's house and I was hungry. And I knew I had probably like $15 in my freaking account. $15, right? And I'm like, damn, what I'm gonna get to eat? I'm starving, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about going to get them nuggets for get them 10 nuggets and shit, right? And I look at my account and it was $280. and $15 in there because I had finally reached the threshold and YouTube had paid me the money, bro. I was fam. When I tell you I was ecstatic, bro, I needed that bread. I needed that money, bro. I needed that money badly. You feel what I'm saying? I was struggling. You understand? But yeah, bro, I remember them days, fam. I remember them days. Them days was rough. Them days was rough, but I just don't get it. I don't get. In fact, this is what I think, right? I think America is just like anything else that we have. Like, could you imagine in the future, let's say that America changed drastically. I think about this sometimes. Let's say that America changed drastically. Like, let's say in the future, like, let's say 50 years in the future, America is more of a totalitarian country and a lot of our freedoms are gone and all of this stuff. Could you imagine how many people in that hypothetical future would look back at today and look at everybody that's complaining like, y'all are crazy as hell? Like, y'all had it made. You had all the opportunity in the world. You had all the freedom in the world. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect, but damn. It's better than this shit. Like, I just feel like in this day and age, people just don't take advantage of how good we got it. Like, there's a lot of shit that's bad, but there's a lot of shit that's good too. There's a lot of shit that's good too. It ain't all bad. And it seems like to me there's some individuals, all they want to do is focus on the bad. That's all they want to do is focus on the bad. They just want to focus on what's messed up. And I don't really see the point in that. I don't see the point in that. To me, it's a waste of time. To me, it's a waste of time. Burnell said, AM, I would agree with you, except some folk don't have common sense or own thinking. They will probably say they have good under. Yo, you know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth, Burnell. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I think people wouldn't care if it was totalitarian as long as it's the ruler that they like. You feel me? Because they was mad quiet under Joe Biden. They was quiet under Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't get no smoke. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Like, as horrible of a job that he did, he didn't get no smoke, bruh. They was quiet as church mice. They didn't give him no smoke. The only people that was giving him smoke was us the only ones that was giving us smoke, giving him smoke, right, was a small handful of us. Shout out to Kenneth, said they just don't want DGT to win. They want the win. Yeah, facts. That's facts. That is facts. That's facts. They definitely don't want him to win. Like I said, this shit is sad. This shit is sad. But anyway, I got to get up early in the morning, so we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm surprised y'all actually got a show today because I was going to take today off. I was going to take the day off, but then I saw all of these people crying about Trump. Saw all of these people crying about Donald Trump and National Guard and all that. I say, you know what? Screw it. Let me just go ahead and do a late night joint. Shout out to the Diz, said humility is very underrated nowadays. Giving thanks even for little things is a good pathway towards success. A lot of folks don't understand it. Facts. So hopefully tomorrow we'll do the show a little bit earlier. So be on the lookout for that. Definitely. But shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to my man Burnell for being a super sponsor of the show. Shout out to Hemlock for being a sponsor of the show. Shout out to Cali Bills for being a sponsor of the show. Shout out to everybody that supported the show. I definitely appreciate you guys. Make sure you go over and check out my book, The Angryman Standard, which is available on Amazon. All you have to do is type The Angryman Standard in the search bar and it will come up. Also, if you want to check out the merchandise, all you have to do is go to shop.binonation.com. Again, that's shop.binonation.com. You can grab you a BINO Empire shirt. Make sure you guys go check that out when you get a chance. Shout out to Tim Dog. He said Chi-Town needs the National Guard too. You got that right. Appreciate you. But with that being said, salute to everybody. Appreciate you guys for coming through. Shout out to everybody that hit the like button. Shout out to everybody in attendance. Make sure you guys answer the exit poll. We love the feedback. Let me know if you guys like the show. Also, make sure you put the shields in the chat. But other than that, man, salute to everybody. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Deuces.
Spartans! What is your profession?